Hi, you all. Okay, so we're going to talk about what is going on the continent. As most of you know, we're here in the lovely country of Tanzania.
Yes.
But let us just get into it. First, I am Ama.
And I'm Mary. And we invite you guys to like,
Share,
subscribe,
and comment down below.
Yes.
And thank you for all our subscribers tuning in and anyone who's new here. This is the mother daughter duo. You didn't know that you needed, but here we are.
Yes.
So I'm sure, as most of you will know, there was a coup in Niger. It's been a few weeks now that has occurred. Niger, as you can see, we're going to show you the map of Africa, and Niger is kind of towards like central western part of Africa. And there was a coup there where the president who was ousted, President Mohamed Bazoum was ousted, and the military, his bodyguard and his army took over.
Yeah.
And Niger was colonized by the French, and since by France, and since they have been independent now for the past 63 years. What's going on there now is the people have been very dissatisfied with the former president, the one who's been ousted, President Bazoum, the former President Bazoum, because they felt like he was kind of like a puppet of the West. They felt like he was, giving all their resources to France, and that the people of Niger were not seeing any kind of benefit for themselves. As you know, Niger is filled with uranium. In fact, Niger has it's like the seventh supplier of uranium in the world, right? And Niger, just to have an idea of how big Niger is about like 87%.
Well, for the people who don't know what uranium is, what is it?
Well, uranium is like raw material that's in the earth. As we know, Africa is filled with raw materials. We have gold, we have diamonds. Niger also has diamonds.
Extremely fertile country.
Yeah, I'm not a scientist, but uranium is one of the elements. And not only that, uranium, what is used for, it's also used for electricity.
Oh.
So after colonization ended, right, and Niger got their independence. I'm going like this because to me, it's not real independence, right? So they got their independence 63 years ago.
Right.
And France prints out money.
Yeah.
For Niger, and including 13 other African countries. France prints out their money, and it has all their money in the central bank in France.
Oh.
And so it prints out their money, signs it, and sends it to them, right? And so for this favor that France is doing, they say we need to have access to your minerals. We need to have access to your uranium. Okay, and the uranium that France gets from Niger, it is responsible for 30% of France's electricity. However, the people of Niger, more than 90% of their people don't have electricity. Make it make sense.
Wow.
Make it make sense.
It's, for me, that doesn't even seem like a fair trade, because you're
Not
getting...
at all. Not
you
at
like
all.
30% of your electricity is powered by us, and all
Yes.
you're doing is printing out our money. Like,
Yes.
I can do that myself in my own damn country. I
Well,
really don't need you.
That's what I wonder, because listen.
Like, there's so many trees. Like, when I came here to Africa, like, I did not see so much vegetation. I did not even know there was so much vegetation. Like, because when you go to America and then you see here, it's like comparing oranges to vegetables. You know what I'm saying?
But you know something?
So why can't they print it here?
Right, but it's not just about getting the paper. And I don't know, like some of you who are bankers and stuff, who we should talk to? We should talk to Grandpa about it.
Yeah,
Grandpa
Granddaddy.
Because he's a banker, right? But I just wonder, why do African countries have to have
Alliances.
it's okay to have an alliance, but it has to be an alliance,
that makes
a true
sense.
alliance that benefits you. You cannot give you can't give like a carte blanche to France to come and take all of your uranium and take it to go power their own country. Give 30% of their whole country uranium, where electricity with the uranium, whereas your country is left 90% don't have electricity. That's not fair, and it doesn't make sense. And so that's the frustration of the people of Niger. I'm not, I don't know a lot about, the whole thing with the central banking and why is it that, African countries are not printing their own money. And I think I have to do more research to find out if there's even one African country that prints its money. Because I think that's what has to happen. One of the reasons, I wasn't even going to actually talk about this.
Yeah,
about this whole thing with Niger, because I have actually been paying very close attention. But I did not want to talk about it because I felt like, okay, I changed my mind. Because they finally did something that I was thinking that they really ought to do. So once this coup happened in Niger, right? ECOWAS, which is a group that was created, and it has like 15 West African countries have formed ECOWAS, right? And so now, headed by President Tinubu in Nigeria, are saying we need to go and we need to reinstate this president that has been ousted. And the people of Niger have been out in their stadium. They have been out in the country. They seem to be very happy about this coup that occurred because they felt as though their president wasn't doing, stuff right for the people, and they felt like he was a puppet for Macron, who is the president of France. So Nigeria was really pushing, not Nigeria itself, but the president of Nigeria was pushing for there to be kind of like a war, for them to challenge that military,
the French military?
No, to challenge the Niger military that ousted their president.
Ousted?
They kicked him out.
Oh.
Right?
Because of what you've been doing with the uranium.
Right.
Okay.
So the one who they felt was a puppet wasn't there to serve the people of Niger. And so President Tinubu wanted to do this. However, the Nigerian Senate said no. They said, no, you cannot go to war with Niger. Now, why does President Tinubu want war with Niger? Well, there's a pipeline that has started from Nigeria to take, I guess, gas, and it goes through Nigeria. Nigeria is right next to Niger, and we're going to show you right here. Take gas through Niger. Like this pipeline goes from Nigeria, right? That's the country next to Niger.
Yeah.
Cuts through Niger, goes goes through Algeria, which also is further up next to Niger.
Yeah.
And then goes to Europe, in order for Europe to get gas from Nigeria.
Wow.
So this is like, you can imagine how much that cost.
Yeah.
Like Nigeria getting this money.
Yeah.
Right, from Europe.
Right.
For this gas from Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
So you can imagine how much millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars that cost, which I still think it's still a steal. It should be costing like billions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
And that's another thing that you talked about, that when you said the trade never seems fair.
Yeah.
Because
if anything, Nigeria is doing way more for France than France could ever do for them. As far as I'm concerned. 30% of your electricity.
Exactly.
And all you do is printing out my money that I can really do in my own damn country with all the fertilization I have.
And that's the thing. So what I like, I'm going to get to my suggestion. What I liked is that, so they have kind of been at this standstill, guys hashing it out. Anyway, finally, the President Tinubu, I guess since the Senate said no, we're not going to war with Nigeria. Also, two other countries that border Niger are Mali and Burkina Faso. In Mali and Burkina Faso, they also had a coup where the military ousted the president, their presidents. And so Mali and Burkina Faso warned ECOWAS, if you guys go to war with Niger, we will take it as you all declaring war on Mali and Burkina Faso, right? But the reason also why they do that too, because they know that if they are successful in reinstating the president, the Niger president, and getting rid of the military in Niger, they could do that in Burkina Faso and Mali. And recently, you guys, Burkina Faso and what's the other country? Mali actually have gotten rid of all the French army. They also had like a French army there from France. That's good. They've gotten rid of them, right? And I feel as though that's good, because I think that one of the things that Africans we must do, which let me get back to what I was saying. So there was this kind of grandstanding, and they were at a standstill. And so President Tinubu decided to send a delegate of Islamic scholars to Niger to speak to the general, to the the military there in Niger, to see if we can come to some kind of dialogue. And so those scholars were successful in creating some kind of avenue to say, let us talk about this. Because at the end of the day, ECOWAS wanted to put sanctions. Remember, ECOWAS is this group that contains about 15 West African countries. They wanted to put sanctions on Niger. My thing is this. I just feel as though as Africans, Africa is still a very young continent, right, in that most of the countries just got their independence about 60 years ago, right? Our people are still suffering, right? Most of the people on the continent are suffering, right? We still have ways to go, but I feel as though it's not really the African way for us to be doing sanctions. Sanctions is not going to hurt the military that ousted the president. Sanctions are only going to hurt the people who already have been struggling under the former president Bazoum. So I feel as though we need to stop following the West or following others about how to do things. We have to start thinking with our own heads and our hearts, okay? And follow the tradition, follow our culture. And our culture is we talk to the elders, we seek counsels with the religious groups, we seek counsel with the chiefs among us, we seek counsel with our healers. You know what I'm saying? And we need to go back to that. Stop trying to assimilate other cultures. This is not our way. And that's why I didn't want to talk about it. Because it just seemed like the same old, same old. Now you're talking about war with another African country. What the hell is that? So I really hope that this is like a beginning. What I would have loved to see, though, when I saw the Islamic delegation there, I would have loved to see some Muslimas there. Yeah. Because I feel like the men, you guys are just doing quite a bit. You need the women there also as a balance.
I think God has given women the gift of foreseeing the future.
Yeah.
All women have that gift. Yeah. And it's not ooh, I can see what's happening to it's not like that, but it's just those natural instincts. So
and I feel the gift of counsel.
And the gift of counsel, all that is from a woman. Yeah. So I feel like when you have just men in the mix, you kind of miss out that whole spiritual aspect of it. Absolutely. And that
and the nurturing side and the loving side of saying our people are suffering. They need food.
That empathy.
They need electricity. Yeah. That empathy it's lost. So when you are talking about sanctions and all this stuff, there are no women. I don't see any women in the room. And so we got to I
have
think,
to value what women have to say. We have to respect those opinions and also incorporate that in it. Because I feel like it's a huge disservice when you stop listening to your women elders or going to women for advice, because the thing is, God has has really put women kind of not right next to him, but women can't bring forth life without God. So it's a very close.
Yes.
So you have to also go and seek your women politicians or whatever the case may be. Absolutely. You can't, when you have a bunch of men, sometimes things don't go well.
And then you guys get to the fighting part so quickly. so quickly. This is something really, the people don't want the president. The president has not done right by the country. We all can see that. How can you be providing electricity for another nation that's considered,
and you ain't got no electricity,
considered first world? Which, I mean, I don't buy the whole first world,
third world country,
because probably the first world countries are the ones who talk about first world, second world, third, and then they put themselves first world, right? But how can you be supplying uranium for a first world country, whereas your country don't have the electricity, but you got the uranium though? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We have to do things that make sense. So I'm happy that the avenue has been open for them to actually talk. I mean, I even heard the Kenyan president try to get in on it too, like, and he's in the Eastern Africa. He's like, yeah, we know this should not happen. And yes, I don't agree with coups often, but in this case, the people seem happy that their president is gone. I really hope, though, that the military will do right by the people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when, you get power, you kind of, start thinking,
you start misusing it.
So hopefully they will continue to do right. But we as African countries, we all should be reaching out to them to say, how can we help? And the other thing we can do a deal where President Bazoum right now, they're going to bring him up, the former President Bazoum, they're going to bring him up on some charges and try to put him in jail.
Good.
You can say, okay, that I have a problem with putting presidents in jail. I just do.
I know,
because
you've always had an issue since,
even when I spoke about Trump,
yeah.
right? People get upset and whatever, but I just feel as though presidents, period, I feel as though you gave your time to the country. It's just like you gave your time. You could have done anything else. And I just feel like you gave your time. Maybe you did some craziness, whatever. Like, move them along. Like this President Bazoum, I just feel like, don't put him in jail. Please.
I feel like if you really effed over the people, even if you were president, if you effed over the people and you were just a tyrant, I don't care if you gave your time. You go into jail.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing I want to say about this coup, this coup was a bloodless coup. Most coups are not. Most coups, people died bloodless. Nobody was killed. Nobody was killed, okay? And the fact that these people, they didn't accept a lot of people coming to talk to them, but these generals accepted. I think a sip of water, you guys. I'm hot.
It's hot as hell out here.
But those people accepted the Islamic scholars. I mean, Niger is mostly Muslim, but they accepted the Islamic scholars to come in and talk to them. Alhamdulillah. So I just feel like, praise God. That's what that means. But I just feel like this is the beginning, and I hope that Africans, you guys reach out to each other. Don't try to follow another culture. You guys Africa has a lot to show the world.
Yeah.
But you can't do it if you don't stand up and look another man who goes to the same bathroom you be going to and pulls up his pants one leg at a time the same way you do, look him in the eye and say no.
Yeah.
I'm not out, of course, Biden, Macron, those people, I don't think America is trying to have a war, but I mean, if ECOWAS is all for it, they'll be like, yeah, go ahead and have a war. But Macron, of course, wants to do that. But I just feel like Africa has a lot to show the world.
Yeah.
Okay? And we can be a beacon of something new, something different. Whereas no sanctions, no war. Let us find a way of speaking to each other peacefully and find a way where our people continue to eat and continue to thrive and prosper. You put sanctions, they don't eat. They can't get medical help. You're not doing a damn thing to the military because they're going to get what they need to get.
Regardless.
But the people wouldn't get it. So what the hell is that? This is not our way. So I hope that with the Islamic scholars coming in, and they said that when they meet with President Tinubu, they're going to get the Christian scholars to come also and talk. I think President Tinubu also is Muslim. But they're also going to get the Christian scholars to come. Get religious scholars, people who are close to God to come. Okay, yeah, I know not all of them are close to God, right? But
speak to the women.
Listen, bring them, talk, and bring some women in and let them also speak. In fact, they should send a delegation of women to Niger to talk to the people and find out, how are you doing?
What do
you know what I'm saying? What do you need? Because, it's a woman who can bring that out of people, right?
Yeah.
To tell them. Because if it was a man, they'll start, But with a woman, the woman can get someone to say, sister, I'm struggling. This is what's going on. You understand? That's the next thing, to send a delegation of female politicians, members of the Senate, right? Doctors, teachers, religious people. Send a delegation of women to talk to the people of Niger and see what they need. And then you guys can bargain and say, okay, for you all not bringing war and sanctions against Niger, we will not prosecute Bazoum. However, since he loved France so much that he spat on his own people and not give them no electricity, but funneling the electricity of another country, why don't we let France grant him asylum with his family and he can go in peace? You understand?
Yeah.
And that can be the barter, because that's what we used to do, barter. We need to get back to that. We need to get back to that. And maybe in so doing, maybe we'll get out of the whole printing money. Because what if France decides we're not going to print money again for Niger? What are you guys going to do?
They really
How are you guys
doing
going
much. You're
to,
printing money.
do your trade and stuff like that? Africa, because we're young, we can actually foster new things of how to do business, how to do trade. And because we have the resources and the raw materials that the world needs, they will have to listen to us. That when you come to this continent, this is how we do things.
Hello.
You can even say we don't use money here. We do that. I mean, there's different ways. I don't know. I'm just, a YouTuber here giving some suggestion. But guess what? I am a woman.
African woman.
I'm a woman. I'm an African woman. I'm a Muslima. I'm a mother. Okay, I'm a daughter. All right. So I get to give my counsel. What do you all think? Get down in the comments. Have you ever heard of Niger? And what do you think about this whole thing? And what do you think about the suggestions? And if you have suggestions, please put them down below.
Yes, y'all.
But this is Amma
and Mary, and we are signing off. Bye.
Don't forget to like,
share, comment, and subscribe.
Okay.